everybody, welcome. It's roasting hot for us day here in the north of England. We tend to not get very warm weather here, but my weather station is saying it is almost 28 degrees, which, as I say, for us is very warm, so we're melting. And if you can hear a kind of background sound, it's the fan, because otherwise I really would melt and it wouldn't look pretty. It'd just be a blob of fat. Ugh, not nice. Blimey, Ros, 22 degrees here, and Mr. If it's raining, you've got our weather. That's what we normally have. Anyway, I've got a few things today to show you and to go through with you. Someone asked a little while ago on YouTube if I could show how to make fabric ruffles, which I will do. That's not a problem. I also want to show you how to colour, or how I colour, not exclusively. There's loads of ways of colouring black and white images, but I just want to show you how I do it. And I also want to walk you through this last of my, not the last, you haven't seen the last of these, sorry. I absolutely adore making them. But this little handbag journal. I call them inspiration journals because they're not filled as a normal journal would be with pockets and tags, etc. They're filled with all the things that I think you could use to make a nice journal. Things that you will enjoy discovering and want to feel and look at and touch, that sort of thing. So here is the latest one, and it's made with Lorna Taylor, Tailor-Made Journals Faded Summer kit. And it is really a beautiful kit. It's very French, very. So this is how I've decorated mine. The lace here, 2 layers of lace here, and lace on the spine. And I've put a really, really pretty, I think you can see that. Well, I shall call it a jewel. I don't know what else to call it. There on the handle, which is magnetised, as they all are. So that can come off, and you're left with that, and you can put this anywhere you want because it's quite strongly magnetised actually, but it will always go back on there if you want it to. You can use it within the journal that you're going to make, or you can use it on the cover of the journal that you're going to make if you choose not to use this one. So let's just remove that for the time being, and we'll have a little walk through here. It's bound with elastic, corded elastic, so you can take the pages out, move them around, put your own in, you know, whatever makes you happy really. And down the bottom, at the end of each cord, I've got a butterfly and a dragonfly, because that's really what this kit is about really. So this is the closure, and it's magnetised as well, so it stays on with a magnet. And we kept the handles from the brown paper bag that we left this with.
Just an inch further forward would be good.
An inch further forward.
Perfect.
Lovely. An inch further forward, so I'll move it forward, then I'll move the material back. Anyway, there we are. So we've got our original handles, and you can just see a tiny little bit around the border of the brown paper bag, just to kind of keep some authenticity really. Okay, so here we go. I'm not going to go into real detail with this because, well, there's a lot of stuff in it. You'll get bored, and then whoever buys it won't have any excitement because they'll know what's in it. But here's the front cover. It's got, I did show you how to do this washed out technique. Faded Summer it says, and it's got one of Lorna's. This is a different kit. I think it's called French Blue Ephemera. Have a look on her shop. She's got some gorgeous stuff. But I've printed this out on rice paper, so it really is very, very delicate and feels quite aged. And then one of the design sheets of the birdie with some fabric ruffle and some rickrack over the top. And I haven't messed with the design sheets. I've left them because they're just gorgeous. This French bunny. He is French bunny. Then here we get down to the things that I have included. So we've got some lovely trim ribbon. the word butterfly, a big butterfly, and then a glassine bag that is full of butterflies. And you can see the size of that one and that one, but there's also some smaller ones in there. So there's plenty enough to be decorating a journal. And then here we've got some watercolour card with, I can't remember how I did that, inks I think, and then embossed it, and then picked up the top with gesso, I think that's how I did it. And that's held on with one of these really cute bulldog clips. Then over we go to the next page, and we've got another one of those French ephemera from Lona's page, also on rice paper. No, I tell a lie, it isn't. It's on very thin newsprint paper, which is fabulous stuff. I've only just discovered it. It's gorgeous. It's really fine, it prints really well, and it's great for these sort of old type documents. Then we've got some hand made paper. We've got a little, well, you can do what you like with that really, it's plain on the back. Then we've got a glassine envelope that's full of these labels, so you can add them where you like, and that's the back of the trim and the bulldog clip. Another page of design paper. Look at the dragonfly, it's beautiful paper. And then this with the birdie on it, and then here we've got an envelope, I can't remember what I put in it, and we've got two sorts of lace. This beautiful one, this is absolutely gorgeous, and some crochet cream lace just for you to enhance your journal where you like, some are in a paper clip. And then over here we go, and we've got this piece of card with there's actually three massive butterflies there. You could use that as a, excuse Bobby, he does that sometimes when he's asleep, and we've got no idea why. We don't know if he's having a nightmare, or I don't know why he does it, but he's all right now. He's awake, he's looking right, he's fine. A piece of don't know what that is, tracing paper maybe, with printed text on it. There's butterfly, which are fussy cut, and a bulb pin here with some beads on. You could either use that as you wish, you know, as a bulb pin with beads on, or take the beads off for something else. A piece of vellum, really nice thick vellum, that's lovely. Some tags, another piece of paper with a print on, some embossed paper. Yeah, I'm getting a wriggle on because I said I wouldn't go through everything. I'm going through everything. Look at that for a stencil. How gorgeous is that? A fussy cut, no, a die cut, one of Tim Holtz's die cuts that I've hand painted. Piece of white lace this time. Some trim, some of that trim, some ribbon. That's double length. Another beautiful page. More stuff in, these are fussy stamped Tim Holtz dies there, fussy cut out. Piece of fabric with a little label on it, some lace, some tickets, some bulb clips. There's plenty to amuse you. This is an embossed envelope, and it's full of die cuts, tied with ribbon, die cut on the top, and a tag. That's pretty much the same, just slightly different colour. Then here we've got embossed paper, beautiful piece of card, some satin fabric, and that which I think you've seen before. Isn't that image beautiful? And here we've got a tag, a bit of embossed blue paper. Some of this lace, it's almost double there. I find that really useful for making pockets. It's great along the bottom to make pockets, I think, but you can do what you want with it, of course. And some of this fabric, look at that fabric. It's so fine and it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. Then onto here, we've got a stamped piece, some postcards from the kit, some tickets. There's 4 there altogether, they're folded over, and it's tied up with this piece of calico. I don't know what else there is there. Oh yeah, there's fabric. There's lots. The other side of the vellum, a doily postcard, embossed tag, another one of those pages from Lorna on newsprint, some handmade paper. I mean, there's lots to look at here. And then on the other side we've got associated stuff. Here we've got Shabby Rose on a glassine wrap, 2 little tags with butterflies on, a bulb pin with beads on, another piece of satin, piece of white lawn, a piece of fine linen. Yeah, there's lots. Some wallpaper, another piece from the French ephemera, a little coin envelope, some cream linen fabric, some lace. What else is there? The wallpaper and a bit of embossed blue paper. And that is pretty much that. It all comes together with a little, well, it's not little actually, with an envelope with other things in that I think that you might like to put in your journal. So that will be on Etsy later today, and that's that. And I really like it. Slightly different shape from the other ones because I made it longer this way. The other ones were more sort of purse shaped. This is sort of squarer. So there you are, that's that. Let me put that somewhat, let Mr. F put that somewhere safe in case something happens to it. So that's stage 1 complete. Tick. We put this away. So, good time for a roll call, do you think, Mr. F?
A good time for a roll call, indeed. I may miss somebody because it's too hot to think.
Okay.
But Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. I think you were here first, so hello.
Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Roz.
Hi, Roz. Hi, Jim.
Kyung.
Hi, Kyung.
Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Jen.
Hello, Jen.
Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Kerry.
Hi, Kerry.
Leslie.
Hello, Leslie.
Deborah.
Hello, Deborah.
Erin.
Hello, Erin.
Adria.
Hi, Adria.
Nona.
Hello, Nona.
Gonnie.
Hi, Gunny.
Zanet.
Hello,
If
Zanet.
I miss you, shout out.
Well, I think Deborah's on great-granddaughter minding duty, so she might be not around for long. But it's nice to have you with us anyway, as long as you can stay. Right, so the next thing I want to show you is how I make ruffles, fabric ruffles. And look, would you look at this fabric? I have a commission journal to make one of my inspiration journals, but in a more naturey, wildflowery, Edith Holden-y type way. So I've bought this fabric to make the ruffles with, and I think you'll agree. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? I really love it, I really do. So what I do when I get a new piece of fabric and I want to make ruffles is I find the selvage like this, and I take my scissors because you want to make sure that you've got a straight edge, and 10 to 1 they've chopped it, they've cut it, but it hasn't been rolled straight onto the roll, so it's not, it looks straight but it's not. So I just take my scissors and I take about ½ inch, using my blunt scissors for some reason, and then rip it. Just tear it down, and you'll see as you go you get different widths, which means you were right to do this because it wasn't straight. There. So there we are. I mean, you can hang on to that if you want to. You never know when that bit of that might come in handy. And then we're going to tear off the bits that we want for the ruffles. So for what I'm doing, I probably need 3 pieces, and I want them all the same width because I want them to look nice in the journal. So I generally do about 3/4 of an inch, I'd say that's 3/4 of an inch. Let's measure it for you, then we'll know. That way. Yeah, might be a bit more than 3/4 of an inch. It's about an inch, I think. You can do yours whatever width you want. The principle is the same no matter what. So I'm going to snip that there, and I'm going to tear that. But before I do, I'm just going to fold that over so I get the next one exactly the right width. Just snip that, and then tear your first piece off. cut yours if you want to. I like to tear mine because I like that sort of frayed edge look. I'm only going to do one for you now. Once you've seen me do one, you've seen me, you know, that's it. There's no other tricks. So I'll just fold that up again. Isn't it lovely? Look at the cornflowers. Oh, it's very, very pretty fabric. Snap those ends off. And put that somewhere relatively safe. Right, so now I'm left with this with all these ends. So start at one end and just pull the loose threads away. And there's loads. You always get loads. Don't worry, you will still be left with some fabric. But these can get caught in the machine when you're ruffling, so you don't really want them on your fabric if you can help it. Some sometimes get, you don't always pick up every last one, but get rid of the bulk of them. That's fine. So we're left with that. Now, if you're so inclined, and I'm not, you can iron it. Because, look at all that. Because sometimes it just makes it a bit difficult to ruffle if it's rolled over. But this one's all right. It's fine. Even these bits here, they'll be fine. So let's get the sewing machine out and show you how we do it. Some thread would always be helpful. Mr. F's just setting up the oh no, I've got red in my bobbin. And I've only got one bobbin. This is not my usual machine. My usual machine is in dry dock at the minute. So I'm using this Toyota machine. And it's got red in the bobbin. And I only have one bobbin. That's interesting, isn't it? Let's have a look through here in case there is one. No.
Take it off for you.
Yeah, I'll take it off. It just seems like a waste.
What can you do though?
Yeah, so that red which is left over from Christmas will have to go. I finished my Christmas project, the one that I was doing for the Vintage Christmas Day in July 2021. Hashtag. It's all done. Sitting upstairs, thinking about life, wondering whether to put it for sale on Etsy at the moment or to leave it till slightly closer to Christmas. And I was watching Ki-Young actually. I like to try and catch all her videos if I can, but sometimes I do miss the odd one. But I was watching hers and she was saying that she's making an easy peasy envelope journal like we made last year. And they are easy peasy and they're good little journals really. And she was saying that she's making this one for her because otherwise the ones that you make November, December, and you need to be already writing things down about Christmas. So she will have hers ready now for writing anything she wants in. Mine would be bereft of entries, wouldn't it, Mr. F? Because we just don't do Christmas. Right, so now...
Far too jolly for my liking.
Far too jolly for Mr. F's liking. Let me just plug this machine in if I can find the... You can tell I'm all organised for this, can't you? I am pretty organised. A bit. I knew what I was going to do. Right, so I just need to wind myself a bobbin.
It's not a day for gluing.
No, it's not a day for gluing. We decided that. I did try and glue something and the collal just flew out of... I don't know how you ladies in warmer climates actually manage, because my collal just went bananas. just went everywhere. Lorna, did you not see my walk through your journal? Oh. Yeah, Adria, that's a good idea. A very good idea. That'll do us for just now, I think. So yeah, this is a little Toyota that's very mechanical. There's not much electronic going on with this guy, but he's a good little fella, aren't you? Bit dusty. Bits of dust falling out. Oh well, what can you do?
Dust?
I'd have to dust inside the machine. This is going to be fun doing this because the fan's on.
Turn it off.
No, I might just have got it. No, might not have done. The fan's sort of blowing my thread away from my needle. That's my excuse. Seems like a relatively good one. Oh no, come on. With my faff I can thread it without even thinking about it. I know exactly where the needle is. There we go. Right.
Are you done?
I'm done messing now, yeah.
Move my camera then.
Yeah.
It's going to go about there, so...
Oh, okay. There you go. Do you want... Is that alright?
Oh, I'm guessing.
Oh, he's a bit drunk, I think.
He's a bit drunk. That might do. It's going to be a bit hit and miss until you get going.
Okay. Right, so here we go, ruffling. Now, some of us, Mike Sinclair is one, and I'm another. We have proper ruffler feet. I'm talking to the camera and you're not even looking at me. Which you can buy, and if you're going to be making yards and yards and yards of ruffle, or things like, you know, those bed ruffle things that go around your bed, anything that nursery kind of things, I would advise buying a ruffler foot. But they are about 50 quid and you need to be making a lot of ruffles. That's all I can say. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to centre that up, drop my foot down, and just... Oh, I've still got my thing on. And just start sewing, just to anchor the thread. Now, I use a credit card, an old credit card. This is Mr. F's old season ticket card for last year, which never happened. And take it from about there and just push it up to where your stitches are and grab it out in time. Otherwise it'll sew your card. And you just keep going like that. And you will get into a rhythm. Try and keep them even, but sometimes they're just not. It doesn't matter. I think they look slightly better when they're not really even. They look a bit machine made when they are all identical. You just need to get the hang of that. Getting your card out in time is the thing. I'm going wonky here. I've chosen to do mine in white and the fabric's white, but you can use a contrasting cotton if you like. I missed that one. I'll put that in. You'll find some cards work so much better than others. I have no idea why that is. It must be rougher or something to pick it up. I don't know.
my cards seem to get more use than yours.
Yeah. You're coming to the bit here that maybe I should have ironed. I don't know why this card has decided to slip rather than grip. So there we are. That's the secret of that, which is no secret at all. And then you end up with this lovely ruffle.
You're a design machine.
I'll show you in a minute when we can get in close, because you can't really see that, can you? So, I can put my sewing machine away now, and I can show you that. Is everybody all right, or do you want me to show you that again? Answer now, or forever hold your peace.
Forever hold your ruffle.
I'm happy to do it again. We're all set up and organised.
If you put it over the top of your sewing machine, you would have seen it on the camera.
It's really pretty, isn't it? Got it. I'm good. Okay. So everybody's okay, are they? Yeah. Everybody seems to be fine. There's no great trick to it. Jen's all good. Got it. Ros, excellent. Very clear. Kyung, excellent. Right. Everybody's good. So I'll just unplug this, put it down out of the way. Whoa, we're whistling through things today, peeps, aren't we?
The sewing camp.
Get rid of sewing cam. Thanks very much, Mr. F, for sorting that out for us. Put this down out of the way. Oh. Right, yeah, so there it is. Isn't it pretty? Let's see if I can show you. Nice, isn't it? What I have been doing of late is just been taking a thin piece of lace or something and just putting it down the middle and sewing that on as well, which you could do. There's nothing stopping you. I don't necessarily think I will with this because it's just so pretty. But that's that. Right, for my next trick today, this morning in the post, this arrived. And I wasn't expecting it. I absolutely was not expecting it, because Mr. F usually purchases all his books from charity shops. But he'd obviously seen this and thought it looked lovely, and he's right, it is. So I had a look through it, and I'll show you through it if you want to. I mean, look at that. That's my favourite colour. It's fantastic. I've already chopped it up, and it only arrived about 6 hours ago. So, yeah, it's chopped up already. It's called The Family of Flowers, the family author's introduction. But look at the pretty pictures. They're gorgeous. They really are. So you get those but on the back of every one of those is one of these borders. This is a daffodilly narcissi border, and I'm thinking that I'm going to chop that up into 3, there, and then I'll have that bit left, which would be a nice thing to find in an inspiration journal, I think. And then in between those beautiful colour plates, illustrations, we've got these black and white images, and they're just so lovely. You know, you can't just leave them there. They're just so lovely. You could use them as they are, as black and white images, mount them onto a tag or a notebook or anything, and that would look lovely. I really think black and white is becoming quite fashionable, and sort of sepia tones, monotones. So yeah, you could cut that out, you could mount it. Job's a good one. Here's where I've been helping myself. So here we've got the other one of those. I mean, they're lovely. And the Buttercup family. Look at these dog roses, they're so gorgeous. I'm saying dog roses, it might be cosmos, actually. We'll see. Look at all these black and white images. I mean, look at them. Fabulous. Too nice to leave behind. Too nice. Then I've got more of this border that I can chop up. And then that image. Look. How many tags, realistically, or journaling cards could you get out of that? 5, 6? Gorgeous. And then on the back of that, we've got this border. My cup floweth over. Loads of images to colour in. Look at that, beautiful. Oh, and these ones here. And then, as I say, interspersed with the black and white images, you get this lovely frame page and the Daisy family, my favourite family. I would live next door to this family if I could. Nice family. I probably do, actually. There's probably daisies outside on the lawn. So, there you go. You've got that border again that I showed. You've got all these black and white images. And I'll just flip through to show you just the coloured plates. Look at that. The Heath family. Oh yes, Mr. Heath and his wife. Mrs. Heath.
Winifred.
Is that what she's called, Winifred?
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to her yet. A lovely border, which must herald. Oh, look at that. The Iris family. I am part of the Iris family because my mum was called Iris. So I'm part of this. Aren't they gorgeous? I mean, you could just make gorgeous things with them. That would make a lovely notebook, couldn't it, if you folded it over. And of course the lovely iris border. I'm going quite quickly because I'm aware it could be slightly boring. That's the end of the irises there. So what have we got now? Oh, the Lily family. See this mascara here? I'm guessing it's mascara. Grape hyacinth is its other name. We bought a pot. It's a little jug actually. It's a really pretty little jug. We bought from Marks and Spencer's, which is not a cheap shop. And it had a bag of soil in it, or compost or whatever, and some little bulbs of grape hyacinth. So we saw the instructions and it said to plant blah blah whenever and keep in a cool place and then bring out, in the spring. And we did all that and we just ended up, oh my goodness me. Yeah, this is the jug. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? It's really, really pretty jug. And this was what we were expecting to come out the top. But what actually came out were the spindliest things. They were like so thin they couldn't hold their own weight up. But we didn't have any of this malarkey. We just had like white, creamy, off-white, nothing, didn't we? Oh, so disappointing.
The Weed family.
The Weed family, yes. So, yeah, I won't be doing that again. Right. Oh, look at that Lily of the Valley. It's beautiful. So, let's see what else we've got. The orchid family. I must say, I love flowers. You all know that. I'm mad about flowers. But the one flower that I would say is my least favourite is the orchid. I don't know why that is. It just is. No reason.
Too fancy for its own good.
Too fancy, yeah. Too fancy for its own good. Wow, look at that page. You could have fun with that. So where's the next one? The Rose family! Oh, roses I do like. I like these sort of loose ones better than the hybrid tea, these ones. But I like them all. They're all lovely. Yeah, they're nice. That might be it actually, is that it? Hang on, what's going on here? No, that's the end of the book. the snapdragon or figwort family. Figwort. That looks like a foxglove to me. Oh, that would just be beautiful, wouldn't it? That whole, oh, yes. And I think that's probably your lot. Yeah, right, so that's it. So I hope you agree. It's a really nice thing. I like it a lot. So what I did was I cut out some of the pages and I cut out some of the flowers. Now this paper, it's not by a long stretch watercolour paper, so it won't take the abuse that watercolour paper would. But I wanted to watercolour them. So I've come up with a technique to do that. It's a known technique. I haven't just devised this technique. But I'll show you all about it in a minute. That's lovely, that amaryllis. Beautiful. That's a really nice page, isn't it? Oh, I wish that was wallpaper. I'd wallpaper my bathroom in that because it's next on the list. Yeah, I'm not forgetting how awful it was decorating this room, and I don't think we're going to decorate it, put it that way. Right, so I have some here torn out of the book. Let me see. I've just started at the front, so there might not be the best images. That's a beautiful daffodil, and all sorts of sort of bluebells and things there. Here we've got the bulb of the daffodil. I don't really want to paint it. Oh, but that's nice, isn't it? I don't even know what it is. Well, it's flowers from that family, that Narcissi family. Hardy in Britain. Lily-like trumpets. Rose pink is the usual colour. Yeah, I noticed that before with the ones I did. It does actually tell you which colour they're supposed to be. Rose pink is the usual colour, but the white colour is striking. Another one has blooms of deeper pink, all sweetly scented. Oh, I need these in my life. Oh, and look at these gorgeous snowdrops. How glad my heart is when I see the snowdrops come through after the winter. And that one there, that's an amaryllis as well. So yeah, I've got some nice black and white images to go out, and I just want to show you before I start the ones that I've already done. So I did that anemone. Let me put it onto a background. Might look a little.
Nancy says hi, she's watching on the big telly.
Hiya Nancy, hiya Will. So yeah, there's the anemone that I did.
And Janya says good morning, she's just got home from work.
Morning Janya. That looks like a French marigold to me. I chopped it up before I read what it was. And I've put sort of associated colours, coloured ribbon on them. This one is a marsh marigold. It's lovely yellow ribbons. So these are all watercoloured. And then this aquilegia, which is all purples and pinks and stuff. So that's what we're going to have a go at today, rather than just casting those lovely black and white images out. We're going to make something hopefully quite pretty with them. Put those there out of the way. Right, let's get started. I need a throat lozenge before I begin, and I need some paint brushes. Mr. F, do you think you could find me a throat lozenge?
I could have a search.
I've got 2 fan brushes here, neither of which I need, but never mind, that's not the end. So let's see which one we're going to do. That's all there. Thanks, my love. That'll keep me quiet. That's really nice, isn't it? I like that. We just really need one. Just need one to start with at any rate. That's very nice, I like that too. I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just going to leave it on that piece of paper. I'm going to tear it off in case I want to do these snowdrops at on a different day, you never know. So does it say, yeah, it was the one, rose pink is the usual colour, okay. So I'm going to get my watercolours out and I'm going to spray them. Look how clean my watercolours are. Mr. F kindly cleaned them and took pity on me and cleaned them for me because they were, well, I'd say they were an embarrassment. They, you know, pretty much looked like every painter's thingy, palette. Ooh, he's just switched the fan on, it's gorgeous. And these are my little Derwent sets, which are really lovely. I get a lot of use out of them. So I'm going to spray them all just to waken them up a bit. Spray to play. I just made that up. Right, okay. So I'm sorry if you find this boring. I completely understand it. And you may find it more useful to go and sit out in the garden in the sunshine. Right, I've got a cheap brush here. It's a Ranger brush. It came, I don't know what it came with, something that Ranger obviously that I bought. It's quite a stiff brush. You could watercolour with it if you want to, and I have in the past. But I'm designating that as my brush to get the paint off the palette, off the colour, and mix it. Because I don't want to be using my good brushes, not that one, you've seen better days, mate. These ones here, they're too fine. And if I was scrubbing them around trying to pick paint up, they'd very quickly become damaged. And this one here, this Princeton one, is quite an expensive one, so I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm using this Ranger one as a sort of scrub brush, if you like, that sort of thing. I've also got myself equipped with some relatively cheap kitchen towel. The cheaper the better, really, because the softer the fibres. So when you wipe your brush over it, you're not ripping at the hairs of your brush. Just nice and soft. Cheap kitchen towel. It's not the world's most absorbent, but put a couple of pieces together and you'll be fine. Okay, so it says rose pink, so I'm going to go for, let me move these out of the way and then you might see what I'm doing. You need to chop my head off, Mr. F.
It does occur to me.
Would it be better without my head?
It's gone.
It's gone. Okay. That's fine then.
Incredibly warm today, isn't it? At least Bobby's stopped owling.
I don't know why he does that. I don't know whether he's harking back to something in his past or he's just dreaming or something. So I'm just going to dampen my, what we'll call scrub brush. Pick up some of this colour.
Stephanie says she's ordered that book.
Have you? It is really lovely. I love it. And put that down into somewhere where you can mix. Can they see that?
Yes.
Yes. So this is actually, I believe, called opera pink.
Put you back on, but smaller. Or put you back on and on the left. Maybe if I move you over to the left, that would probably...
Right, so I've put some water on my brush and I'm just cleaning off any pigment that I've got left because it costs enough, so I just don't want to waste it, so that's that. So let's just clean that brush out. And I'm going to use, these are quite small, oh, here I am, hello. I just get moved around willy-nilly. So I'm going to take this quite fine brush, it is a number 2 round. Generally, brush manufacturers have their own numbers for things, so it's not always helpful me telling you what number things are. Now, watercolouring generally, you would wet the bit that you're going to colour, then drop your paint into it. This isn't going to work on this paper, it's not going to stand it, it's not thick enough. It'll just buckle and it won't look nice. So for all that is the proper way to do things, we're going to do this slightly differently today. So I'm going to pick up some of this colour on my brush, and when I pick it up I just roll my brush around like that and pull it away from the paint, and then I get a nice point on my brush and I've got lots of pigment on there. So I'm just literally colouring this in, not doing anything more technical than that. The image itself has some shading on it, that's excellent, that will help us. So that's all I've done, just coloured it in. Right, I'm going to do two, and I'm chancing it because the fan is directly on here, but we'll see. I'll do another petal and we'll see. And then I'll show you what to do, and it'll make your paintings look like you know what you're doing. They'll be fancy. That's what Keon said, fancy. Right, so I've just put colour on there, that's all. So I'm going to wash the colour out in my watercolour pot, in my clean water pot. Brush it over my soft kitchen towel, and then take it and place it down quite firmly and do that. And you'll see you made a space. You've picked the paint up. Just as the brush would pick the paint up from here, it's actually picking it up from the page. Go quite slowly, allow it time to soak it up. And there you are. Look, I don't know if you can you see that? See the stripes?
Go down a bit now.
That's it. You see the stripes in the petal? And we didn't paint those on. We painted a solid colour. Then we came and lifted, that's what it's called. So I'm just gonna, do you think you should go in a little bit maybe?
I can go in.
Seem to be quite a long way away from everybody.
We are a long way away from everybody.
I know, that's true. I can't see very well with the light, it's very bright.
Better, I think.
Oh good, thank you. So same thing, just colour in that petal. Nothing more complicated than that. And you can all do that, I know you can. And I know you were hoping for Copics today. So sorry to disappoint. So I'm just doing two at a time. If you're in colder weather or whatever, you can get away with more than two. But the fan's right on this and it's drying it up. So just take, once you've picked your colour up, wipe it off again on your cloth. There we are. So we've got this lovely idea of shading, excuse me, going on. We can come back in later and make other areas darker if we want to. But for the time being, we're just dealing with our petals. And I think you'd be really proud to put these in your book, in your journals. I hope so. I hope you give it a try. You don't need expensive paint.
Jen says now she has to switch gears and look for black and white floral books.
I know. So let it soak up the paint like that. Just wash that paint that it's soaked up off and then do the same again. There we are. So that's, oh, you can see it perfectly. Don't need to hold it up. There we go. So let's do, we've got the windows open today. I mean, the likes has never been known. Let's just have a look at this and see. I think they're all pretty much the same. We'll come back in later and put some dark in where it would be dark naturally. And it's a very kind of mindful thing to do. Seems to be the word of the moment actually, but it is very mindful. You just go at your own pace. allow it time to soak that paint up. It's not going to happen just if you just brush it over. You've just got to take your time, like that. There we go. So I always say, but today I really hope I'm not boring you, because I can see this has the potential to be quite boring. But you know me, guys, you know my background, you know that really I was a painter, I won't say artist, but as a painter, before any of this junk came into my life. That's a lot of paint on there. If you do that and you've got too much, just dry your brush off and it'll suck it up. Suck it up. No, I haven't got enough on. Just going to leave this bit in the middle because I suspect it's probably yellow and orange. You know, in lily sort of things, that is, those big stamen things, that's generally what happens. You decide yourself where you want to put these, where you want to pick the colour out. You can be guided, of course, by the book, by the lines in the book. And just take your time. I'll tell you what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Edith's colouring book. And I got it out. I'll show you in a sec for those that haven't seen it. I was thinking, oh, I'll colour one of those on the live. And then I looked how complex it was and I thought, no. No, that's not happening. It's got a bit too much paint. This one has just begun to dry a bit too much and it's resisting me lifting the colour off. So just be careful of that if you live in warmer parts of the world, that just do one petal and then lift it off is probably the best way. Are we clear there? Is it blurry?
Well, we are zoomed in at an incredible... Let me change angle.
Just looks a little bit blurry.
And then we can try it. Is that any better? That's a bit better,
Yeah,
really.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Now I've got to work out what's leaves and what's petals here.
You're moving off its camera now.
Oh, am I? Oh, sorry. I'm on there, yeah. Well, this is definitely a petal, so I'll put it in. Kyung, have you got anything sweet to eat? Or have you had to send Matthew out again? I'm so tickled that Matthew would go and buy a big box of donuts. It's so nice. So I'm just plonking the paint down, nothing more than that. And then I'm rinsing my brush so it's clean, drying it on here, and then just running through that so it just gives some sort of highlights that you haven't painted. It's magical that you can get lines in your work that you absolutely haven't painted. Right, I've got some I don't know what you call them, sepals, are they? Anthers, something of the sort. So I'm just gonna dot around those, because they, I think, want to be yellow. So I'm just going to take some colour out. Yeah, be careful what you're doing, because once it dries it doesn't want to give it up. Even the paint on my palette's drying. So where's my next leaf petal? Here, I think. I don't know where my petals are. I think that's one there as well. I think I've got too many petals.
No, that's the trumpety bit.
That bit?
Yeah, that's coming from the back and opens up into the petals.
Ah, right, okay. Probably is easier to see it from a distance. So I'm pretty sure that you can all do this. I really am. Okay, so there we are. So is that all the petals? I think so. Right, now I'm just gonna get my Ranger brush out, the one that I'm using as a scrub brush, and I'm just going to put some more pigment into that mix because I want a darker pink now, just to emphasize some parts of it. So I think that bit there would be darker. So it's just a question of, be guided by the markings on the book already. They will show you where it's darker. And just kind of common sense really, where will it be the darkest? Okay. I think that's probably all I need to do there really. I just dot some pink in through here. Yeah, okay, I think that's pretty much all we need to do with regards to the pink. Now, I'm going to leave those alone to dry before I go back in with the yellow centres, etc. And I'm going to start on the leaves. So, get my Ranger scrub brush, and I'm going to use this, which is sap green. It's a really good green colour. But lilies do not have leaves that are this colour. They have a more bluey green colour. So we need to mix it. And mixing is something that people... You can't see that.
Zoom out while you mix.
I'll move to here. Mixing is something that somehow, for some reason, scares people. I mean, if you put two colours together and you don't like it, don't worry. But I'm going to try this one here, which is a sort of a very bluey green, and I'm going to mix that into it. Let's see what colour we get.
Forward a bit.
Forward?
That's it.
Yeah, we get this really nice green that's got a blue tinge to it, but I think I want to go even further with it. Now this green that I'm mixing in is called phthalo green. It's got a really weird spelling, and you don't need to know how to spell it. You just want a bluey green. I'm mixing up quite a lot because there's quite a lot of leaves. So there we are. I think that is an appropriate colour for lily leaves. It's a very green green. So let's just get off what we can off that scrub brush. Lovely. And clean that out. Right. So, oops. So let's move back onto the leaves. Where are we? Yeah, that's about right. Actually, if I turn that round the other way, it's better, isn't it? Yeah. That's a better plant altogether. Right, so I've got this very small brush that I'm using, but I've also got this brush which is a bit thicker, and it holds loads more paint, which means I'm going to be going back and forward less. So that seems like a good plan to me. So I'll just make sure my brush is wet and dried off, receptive to pick up paint. Roll it in your paint and spin it round in your fingers and lift it off. Let's start with this big stem here. That is a lot of paint. So I'm just following the lines. I'm not doing anything clever at all. I am literally following lines. Right. Now I'm going to take my other small brush that I was using for the petals, clean it off, dry it off, and then I'm just going to go down one side, towards one side, with this smaller brush. Need to do that again. And what you're doing is just making a highlight, or a hash of it, if you may. Don't seem to be able to draw a straight line. So I'm just making a highlight, as you would see in real life. Okay, right. Lovely, good start. So let's start with the ones at the back and we'll work our way forward. So just follow the shape that's there. And if you want to add your own flourishes, that would be nice. But you don't have to. Right, so here the leaf turns over. And it will be a slightly different colour on the back to the front. So I'll bear that in mind. Oops. But I want to take off that mark for a start. Where's it gone? Right. So I just want to come down this line that they're suggesting to me on the image. Like that. Just gives a difference. It's not all dark green. Yeah, I'll get in there. I'll get in there. There we are. Now, the other thing that I want to address is where the leaf flips over, it becomes a different colour. So I'm going to take some of that darker bluey green, just mix a little bit of that in with it.
Lorna says you're the new Bob Ross, happy highlights.
I just think it's such a shame to have all these gorgeous images and not paint them in.
You do have a very soothing voice, very similar to Bob Ross.
Oh my life.
He was probably slightly less hairy.
Oi. So that's that. I've put a darker colour in where the leaf turns over. I'm not sure if you're picking that up, but it's there. I can see it. And if it's not enough, we can always go back and put it back in again. So, back to the bigger brush. I'm just going to add some of that blue that we, just as a point of difference really, just make it look slightly different shade. And I know there'll be loads of you looking at this thinking, what on earth has this got to do with junk journaling? But you know, you've got your book. You've bought your book for the images. You can't just use the coloured ones and junk the black and white ones. You can't do it. I mean, you could, like I was saying, use just the black and white, because that would be nice. So there we are, we've got that just coloured in. That's all it is, it's just coloured in. Clean the water, clean the pigment off your brush, dry it off, and then you've got a sponge instead of a brush. So just follow a line along there. And it won't happen instantly, you might have to do it 2-3 times. But then you'll see it happen and it's like magic. There we go. So you get the picture. Do you get the picture? Now this one here, it's behind, so it's going to be darker a bit. So I'm just going to use a darker, slightly darker hue. Hue. There we are. I think it's much easier just doing one at a time, because the fan is right on it and it's drying it quite quickly. There we go. Then I'll do that one. Ooh, that's a lot of paint. So I would, first of all, just to see if you like water painting, water painting, paint with some water, is buy something like the Koh-i-Noor watercolour paints that actually, they look like a little flower. I think it's about 8 or something, and they're really good paint. I've got some somewhere. I should have had them out to show you, but I don't know where they are. That wants to be the darker colour because it's behind, it's the back of the leaf in here. Doesn't actually want to paint over the ink, which is quite strange. But there we are anyway, that's a darker bit. Then this one, we're getting there, guys. That's one thing about watercolour painting, don't be in a hurry. Enjoy it, enjoy the process for what it is. Yeah, the paints that I'm talking about are called Koh-i-Noor, Koh-I-Noor, and they come in little sort of floral shape. They're black. The palette is black, not the paint. And they're really good for. They're just good paints. They're good for starting out, but they're good paints, full stop. And they're very inexpensive. A very good starter's kit. I know some of you have bought them already. And the other ones that I recommend, but aren't quite so cheap, are the Derwent palettes. That's these ones. They had 2 sets when I bought them. I'm not sure that they haven't added to it and have set 1, 2 and 3. But they're great little paints. They're highly pigmented. They are actually ink rather than watercolour, but that's fine. It just means you get more pigment for your money, which is always good. So it's a bit messy there. Right. Just carrying on. Is everybody falling asleep yet, Mr.
No. Well, I can't vouch for... I mean, the ones that are still typing haven't fallen asleep. I
Oh,
can't
that's
vouch
good.
for the rest.
Are they enjoying it or are they bored?
I don't think they're bored. And even if they were, they wouldn't dare say so.
Well, they should. And then I'd just stop. So the process that we're learning today, if you like, is lifting. And it's lifting the paint off to give you shadows and light. So once you've learnt that, it is a very, very useful technique to know. Now this bit here, is it turned over, so I just want some more of this darker green, bluey green. Mix it in with a little bit of sap green. And that's fine. So I'm just going to use that as my darker colour for the back of the leaf. And we're back on.
Luna says she's going to play this video next time she can't sleep.
Cheers.
I will
Luna.
nod right off into dreams of happy little trees.
And happy accidents.
And Jen says, what about brushes? What would you recommend?
Well, to start with, if you're not sure that you're really going to be into this, just use a water brush. Generally, when you buy them, they come in 3 thicknesses, broadness of the brushes, and that's good enough to start with, definitely. I know that you have craft sort of superstores over there. The only one that we have in this country is called Hobbycraft, and they do a make called De La. It's not their own make. They stock a make called De La Roni, which I'm not sure if you can get in America, and they're sort of middle of the road, I would say, prices. And I think that needs more paint up there. I've stripped it of all its paint. And I favour the De La Roni ones, to be honest. I personally don't like sable. I find it just too soft for the way that I paint. I used to paint with acrylic, so I'm fairly heavy-handed. The light's shining right on that and I can't see. So I use De La Roni. I use predominantly rounds. I paint flowers all the time, so everything is round, the petals, etc. But recently I acquired this Princeton brush, which I know is an American make. It's called a mini detailer, size 4. And it's absolutely fabulous. I love it. I really love it. It's got this really lovely handle to hold. They aren't cheap, but this one, I just love it. It's called a Princeton Mini Detailer 3050R, number 4 round. And I would really recommend that brush. It's gorgeous. My paint's drying up here. Where's my Ranger? It's going to add a bit more colour to this. It's just drying up a bit. It's just too warm a day for it. Chose the right day to do this. I thought I wasn't going to do glue because my glue was misbehaving. And
Nancy O'Rourke says, this is wonderful to watch. Hello from California.
hello, Nancy O'Rourke from California. How nice of you to join us. I'm sure you're quite used to having temperatures that are quite high. For us, this is a novelty. It says it's, we're dropping down a bit now, 26.6. Actually, that's the underneath of that leaf. So I need to do it in that colour, really. just drop that in. Want that to be nice and dark. And then this top of the leaf is this colour. And I'm not sure that you're actually seeing much difference, but we can go back in later and highlight the, well, low light, I guess, the dark areas. So yeah, with regards to brushes, Jen, if you know now that, you know, you really like it, well, spoil yourself and buy a Princeton. The other brush that you will need, apart from a round, is one of these, which is a fine liner. I'll show you in a minute how they work. They are marvellous brushes, but they take a little while to get, you know, to master. That's the back. That's the back. That brush is too big. It's just a thing about being patient, I think. Well, rather more just enjoying it. Enjoy the process. I'm really struggling here because I can't see because the light's shining off my paint.
Do you want me to block the light for a bit?
No, it's alright. It'll be alright. Be alright in the night. Okay, so these are the darker colours. So I'm going to go in with my Ranger brush, pick up my darker colour again. There's not that awful amount of difference, so if you can't see any difference, that's why.
Yeah.
So this is underneath, so it's not going to have anything taken off it because it's not in the light. And then just that little bit there. Right, so I'm just going to leave that alone now to dry. Oh, there's a dark bit there that I've missed. To dry while we go back and deal with what's going on up here. So I'm just going to turn that this way so I can actually see it. I'll do the greens first, seeing as the greens are on my palette and they're nice and wet. Sorry I'm not being ultra chatty, but kind of got to concentrate. I know you'd think that chatting would come second nature to me, and it does, generally. But sometimes you've just got to concentrate. So I've got one coming down here. You really want to make sure that pink's dry before you go anywhere near it with green, because pink and green together, red and green together, they make mud. They make brown. So make sure one's dry before you start with the next. And these things, like what colour things make, you learn. First time you put red and green together and you get brown, you'll think, I won't forget that in a hurry. And you will, you do it again. But eventually you'll remember. Right, now I'm just going to take a bit off some of these. This one here, for example. Just lift a bit like that. Here, maybe just here. I think I've chosen quite a complex one, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Nancy says she lives by the ocean because she can't stand too high heats.
Ah, nice ocean breeze. I'm afraid of the ocean. I'm terrified of it, actually. It's too big and too powerful. So I'd have to live in the middle of the country, like Indiana, like Jen's house, for example. Let's go and live at Jen's house. Sounds good, Mr. Effer.
Sounds very good.
I mean, Mike's got a ruffler. What do you need?
Yeah. He likes dumpster diving.
Right, okay, so what I want now is really quite a dark green. I've still got my little sepals and stuff to do, but I just want to get this sorted. So let's get the Ranger brush out. Here it is. And I'm just going to see if I can find a colour that's dark. I'm not sure what colour that is, actually. I did name all these colours when I put them in, and then promptly... Oh, that's nice. That's a nice dark green, isn't it?
So Erin says you don't watch Shark Week.
Well, you know, oddly, I love to watch things that terrify me. Mr. F will vouch for that. I really do love to watch things that terrify me. I've got a programme on at the moment called Toxic Animals, and I have to watch it. It's like when I used to go to the zoo as a child. First place I wanted to go was the snakes, the reptile house. They just... I'm afraid of them, and I'm amazed by them all in one go. So let's just see if this is dark enough. Maybe not.
Jen says, I say we visit Keong or Janya at the beach.
Oh no, not the beach. Gonna have to darken this down even more. It really needs to be dark green. Right, where shall I start? In there. Let's see if that's dark enough.
You have to get beach body ready.
I am beach body ready to go to any beach I'm going to, which is none. So I'm just dropping some dark colours in where it would be dark. So where you think the shadows would be, that's where you want this dark to be. And it will bring it to life. You'll be surprised when you do it yourself, just how much it does actually bring it to life. But be brave, go for quite a dark one, a dark mix. Try not to mix black into your paints. It really does deaden colours, does black. It saps all the life out of them. So, I mean, you can use, Payne's Grey is the one that artists use a lot. It's a very dark, it's a mix actually of black and blue, but it's a softer black. Let's just come down here a little bit. So I bet you're all fed up now, actually, to be honest. I bet you're all thinking, can you not give it up? No, actually, not yet. I'm nearly there, but not yet.
Nancy says she loves the process of using the clean brush as a sponge.
Yeah, that is exactly right. You are so right there.
Creates the variegated look of nature.
Yes, because nature never is exactly one colour, is it? And of course with sunlight on it and whatever, you do get various shades. And that is beginning to look a little bit better, I think. It's not the neatest job in the world, but it's looking a little bit better. It's got a bit of life to it. I'm just going to go down this side with this dark green. Remember, we've got a clear strip in the middle of this stalk and then a lighter green on the other side that we painted in. There. And then some of these are definitely going to be in the shade. I was thinking I might get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these done today. So much for that thought.
Jan says better question mark. It's awesome.
The difference with the dark, it does make a difference. It really does. You just got to be brave and go for it. And don't, if your first one's a complete and utter horror, don't worry. Who knows even? Who's going to know? Nobody's going to know. Right, so what I want now then is some yellow, orangey yellow, just to drop into the centre of these. I want that little brush, but I want my Ranger brush first, this one. And I'm just going to... You alright?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you need clean water or you're alright.
No, I think I'll be alright. It's a bit manky, in fairness. But it's alright. Right, I'm going to use this yellow here. It's a nice bright yellow. And that's what I want. I want something that's bright. But that might just be too yellow. So I'm just going to go over onto that orange a little bit and just mix a tiny little bit of that into it. And you'll see it just knocks it back a little bit. It's nice. So don't be afraid of mixing colours. You've got to mix them to see what you're going to get. Right, let's see if we can do this or not. I'm going to treat myself to a new bit of kitchen towel. Cheap kitchen towel, bear in mind. Don't get the day stuff because it'll take the hairs out of your brush. And just dry it like that so it's clean, it's dry. I'm going to pick up some of this yellow. So I'm just going to move my brush through it and then roll it, roll it, roll it and pick it up so I've got a nice point and a brush full of paint. So I'm just going to add this up.
For a second because you're doing it behind your head.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. So that's the yellow in there. Oh, there's some stems I've missed. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think lilies do have this sort of, might be slightly browner than this actually. I'll come back in with a little bit of brown on that.
Kyung says, be brave, be bold, mix. My new mantra.
Yeah, mix. Absolutely. I noticed that you had some Crayola Superfine Kyung. They're great. I love those. They're like instant hit. I love them. I just got too much paint on this, so I'm just sponging it off using my brush. I don't think I'm going to get any to go in there because this paint doesn't want to go over the ink on the book. I might get a little hint of it. Yeah.
It's never a strong colour yellow, is it?
No, it's a very weak colour. Don't ever try and paint yellow over another colour. You'll only be disappointed and you'll cry and you'll be sad. If you really, really need yellow over another colour, the thing to do is get some white gouache. 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 Gouache even. And that's opaque. You can paint that onto wherever you want your yellow, let it dry, then paint your yellow on top of the white. But don't try and paint yellow over another colour. It just doesn't work. Just does not work. Right, so I've got some...
Lorna says, don't be afraid to knock somebody back a little. Is that what you just said?
Well, it wouldn't be you, Lorna, would it? Because you're too lovely. But yeah, don't be afraid to knock somebody back.
And with Kyung saying be brave, be bold, mix, Jen says that mantra could work for adult beverages.
It could, yeah. It could. They've gone silly now, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, Jen's already been mixing, I think.
Well, you know about Jen. I've just gone over the line now, so I'm actually going to use my brush as a sponge and take off that bit that shouldn't be there. And then it's not there. It's like it never happened. Now the only thing that's jarring me about this whole thing is this leaf, and it's just kind of the wrong colour. It's too bluey. So I'm just going to go back in over it with some more sap green, because it's annoying me somewhat.
Back on the other side again.
Okay.
And Lovely says you're always doing something fun, so fun.
Well, I think. Well, no. Let's do the dark on the on the petals. Sorry, you were nearly gone there, weren't you? You were so close to going, but no. Right. So I've got my Ranger scrub brush, and that's my pink that I've been using. This opera pink. But I just want a slightly darker hue. So I don't know what colour this is next door to it, but I'm going to give it a try. Oh yeah, that's nice. I really don't know what colour it is. It just looked like it might be a sort of red type colour, and I guess it is. So I've mixed that in with my opera rose, and I've got a darker colour than I used for the petals. Let's see if it's dark enough. So it's just the same thing. We're just doing the same thing. We're just making shadows here. Is Flo still here? Is she had to go? Deborah, I mean, or she had to go?
Not sure.
So I'm just dropping in just some dark bits, just to highlight the light bits, because that's what happens. The dark highlights the light. I had a heck of a lot of pigment on this first one to start with.
Fancy Nancy said she stepped away for a brief moment to return to find you're being brave, bold, doing things, knocking people about.
I know, Nancy. Can you believe it?
Just off the top there.
Oh, just off the top. Okay. So I'm just adding dark. I could go darker. You could. You really could go darker.
And you will.
Yeah, and I will at some stage probably. See, if you just put it in.
Deborah says she's there.
Oh, that's good, Deborah. Well, it's good in one way, but I never feel I'm good enough when you're there, Deborah. So you can see we've now got a bit of light and dark. I'm just going to give that a second to dry while I make up some really dark. So I'm going to use, well, I don't know, because none of them have got the right colour on. I don't know what colour is that. Is that green? Yeah, I think so. That's no good. Don't want that. You know what will happen with that, don't you? We'll get mud. What's that? Oh, I think that's Payne's Grey. Excellent. So I'm going in with that.
Kyung says, well, this looks so amazing, she's going to have to watch later on HD.
Oh, no, Kyung. So I've now got this almost purple. Well, it kind of is purple. It's really pretty colour. And I am just going to go in just where I really think it needs to be very dark. And it should just bring out the light.
Jen says you make it look so effortless.
Who?
Jen.
Jen. Well, Jen it is. It is Jen. That's the thing. Don't think, oh, I've only got 5 minutes before I need to put the potatoes on or something. You know, do it when you've got time.
If it was truly effortless, I'd be doing it.
it doesn't require a lot of skill. It just requires repetition until you get the hang of what you're doing. Yeah, I think that's helped those a bit.
Nancy says she loves watching paint dry.
Sorry, Nancy. Sorry. I'll do something super exciting tomorrow. I don't know what, but I think that dark's helped. You know, those ones look better than that one, for example. Yeah, I know, Nancy. I know it's not the world's most exciting thing.
I think she was joking.
Oh.
Maybe I should have said, I love watching paint dry, LOL.
Yeah. So this is it. We are very, very close to completion. Yeah, that's it. I can't really do much more than that, guys. So that now will go on a tag or something, whatever, and be used in a journal. Mr. F's just going to pull us out a little bit so as we can... Oh, I was going to put a bit of brown on there, but never mind, that doesn't matter. So there we have it. Oh, we've gone dark. We've gone into dark mode.
It's my big fat fingers. How's that?
I think that's all right. Looks quite dark. It's dark. So he's put the light off. No. Oh well. Oh, we've gone light again. I don't know why it does that. It just does.
How's that?
That is lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah, there we are.
Too white. Really?
No, it's fine. It's good. So there we have it. It's taken ages. I'm really sorry. It's not the sort of thing that I should have done on the live. I just want you to know that you can do it. You absolutely can.
If you compare it to one of the originals, I suppose.
Yeah, so this is what we started off with. Just a plain black and white. And we coloured it in, and this is what we got. And I think I could happily put that in a journal. I quite like it, actually. I do like lilies, so that's a good start. But, you know, chop it out. Do what I did with the other ones, these ones. And I just put them on craft. I mean, you know, you can put them on whatever you fancy. Put your ribbons on the top. And I think you've got something. I really quite like that Aqualigia, actually. And that Marsh Marigold. But, you know, they all started off black and white images in this book this morning, and we've got them painted up and would look good. Well, I'm not saying good, but they'd look nice in a journal anyway. So that's it, guys. Temperature is plummeting. We're down to 26.3. And I might carry on doing these this evening, actually. Just in the mood for a bit of watercolouring. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's been a quiet one, but I did show you Lorna's handbag journal, and I showed you how to make a fabric ruffle, and now I've shown you how to watercolour on paper that's not thick. When you watercolour onto paper that's thick, I'll just show you this ever so quickly. It's a very different technique. Let's put these away before I get them all dirty.
Kyung says it could hang in a gallery.
Kyung.
Nancy says it's gorgeous. Kerry said it's stunning.
Oh,
Sarah said that's beautiful.
guys, you're so kind.
Jenny says it's gorgeous.
You can all do it though. This is the exciting thing about it. You can all do it. Let's get a fine liner. It's a waterproof fine liner. I think it is, yeah, water resistant. Oh, doesn't want to stick with the lid on. And I'm just literally going to draw a petal. I'm off the page. Yeah, that's all right. I'm there. I'm here. And I'm going to just put a vein in it. Like so. Right, so we've got not a petal, we've got a leaf. Just to confuse you. Now, if I was, I hope that's dry. If I was watercolouring this is mixed media paper actually, it's not watercolour paper, but it's, you know, it's got much more to it, much more absorbency than this page in the book, which the way we've done this, it hasn't buckled at all, not at all. Oh, and I was going to show you that as well, I'll lay that out. So what you would do with watercolour paper is you'd take your brush, this is pretty manky, this water now, and you would lay water all over the area that you want to paint. So I'm going to paint this side here of the leaf, and it's drying like absolute billio, so I'm going to have to be quick. So I've got water laid down there. You couldn't just knock that fan off just for a second, could you please? It's just making my life too difficult. So you want the paper glistening, you don't want it dripping wet. So paint your water on. Just got a bit too much down there. Catch hold of your green, which is all dried up. And then you can drop your colour on into that water and it will spread, or it should spread, but it's probably dried up because it's too warm. So it is just spreading, you can just see that. But because it's dried up, I'm just going to put some water right up next to it, which will encourage it to spread. And then if you want some on the outside, just drop it on the outside and it'll spread into the water. It'll always wick into the water. So just keep adding the water till it wicks to where you want it. And that's not the world's most brilliant example because you can't even see that, but that's how you would watercolour. That's proper watercolouring. Right, the other thing I was going to show you was a fine liner brush, which is this. I'm running out of paint here that's actually paintable paint. Is that my Ranger brush? Let's do this in yellow.
Also called a rigger.
Yeah, it's also called a rigger because they used to use it to paint the rigging on old ships, you know, where they needed a really fine line. So I'm hoping this yellow is going to show up. So you take your brush, damp it, dry it, and then roll it in the paint. Like that, till your brush is really full of paint. And it is amazing how much paint these fine liners, riggers will hold. And then lift it up from the palette and keep twisting until you're just left with a very fine point, and then you can paint with it, and you can, you know, paint for quite a long time actually with just one load of paint. So you don't always have to be going back and back and back to get more paint because you've got plenty on your brush. It's quite staggering, isn't it, how much paint you can hold in that one brush load. And there's, you know, there's still paint there. So there we are, that's what a fine liner does. And it's all about how you load it. It's all about how you load it. So that's it, we've finished our thing. So when you go to wash your brushes, wash them in good, clean water, cold water. You don't need soap or anything else. Just rinse them out in water and then shape them in your hand. With the fine liner, you want to shape it to a point at the end to leave to dry. With all the rounds, you want to put them into points and leave them to dry. With blades, just run your finger through them so that you get a nice square end to them. And that's it. I don't know anymore. I genuinely don't know anymore. Sorry, it's been quite long, quite arduous, quite boring possibly in parts. But I have enjoyed your company, and I've enjoyed sharing with you bits that I know, and maybe bringing to life some of the black and white images that you've got in your book that you are overlooking. Don't overlook them. Do not overlook them. They are really, really pretty. So, yep, I hope I've given you some tips. I hope that you want to go out and try. You know, just give it a try. Nick the kids' paints, nick your grandchildren's paints. That you won't get the world's best results because they're not very highly pigmented, but you'll get a feel for it. And if you've got any questions at all, just message me and I will endeavour to do my best to help you out. So thank you very, very much for your company. That's the journal that's made with Lorna's Faded Summer will be up on Etsy pretty soon. Well, as soon as I can list it with Etsy, it's never easy. And I'll see you again tomorrow when we'll have more fun. I don't know what fun yet, but we'll do something. So thanks for joining me. Take care, look after yourselves and behave. Bye.
Bye, take care, stay safe, be happy, see you tomorrow, bye!